Last week on Bebop, we replaced our thru-hulls and patched some holes. This week on Bebop, we plumb, we paint, and we paint some more. We hope you enjoy this week's adventure aboard Bebop. Hi, I'm Simon.
And I'm Stuart.
And it has been a busy week.
Apologies for missing Tuesday's video. It has been just too busy to even edit video.
Pretty much. It's been a very, very busy and very hectic week, full of boat projects.
But we're back on the boat.
Woohoo!
So how do we get to this point?
Each Friday represents the last week of content. So let's go to last Friday and see what we got up to that week.
Let's go.
Woohoo! First up, we need to cover our brand new fiberglass repairs with a couple of coats of barrier.
Just me at the boat today. Simon's currently editing what will be last Friday's video when this comes out. And we're preparing for bits of barrier coat. Let's take a look at this. So, we're gonna be sanding this spot here, making that all nice. Then over here, I'm gonna get that all sanded, make it ready for barrier coat. And once all that's done, we're gonna get a barrier coat. Let's get a sanding.
With some YouTube magic, we can jump past the tedious sanding.
Alright, with all the sanding done, it's now time for us to wash everywhere we're going to be using barrier coat. Just gonna rinse them down, use a little bit of Dawn, call it good. We are so totally coming back to this on our next haul out. Let's get to it.
The cleaning process is simple. I sprayed each spot with water, wiped it down with Dawn, sprayed again, had it dry with paper towels, and finished it off with a wipe of acid. Maybe not the best way, but it seemed to work.
Alright, now that we've done the surface prep, we're gonna get to doing the epoxy barrier coat awesomeness. Let's get it prepping that paint. Alright, so we are now ready for barrier coat. We're using Turtle Boat Turtle Protect. We're probably only going to use a little bit because there is not a lot of area here for us to cover, and we're probably only going to get 2 to 3 coats on. And we're going to be using brush to do all this. Now, we're not going to do the entire, since we're not doing the entire pot, we're going to use a small little mixing pot. Probably do up to level 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know. Probably 2. We'll do 2. And add the stuff in, mix it up, and we'll get to painting this stuff. We'll see how this goes.
This is my first time applying any kind of barrier coat. The last time I painted anything, it was a bilge with bilge paint. For mixing, I copied what I was taught and spent 10 minutes shaking the can and mix the paint. The first coat went on easily with a brush. I got good coverage while also laying it on thick. The brush was effective for the small circles I had to paint. It was not so effective for the large patch we sanded. As I was brushing the paint on, my only thought was I should have used a roller for this one.
Alright, Simon. Now that you're here for the second coat, what do you think of the first coat here? Why is it so rough? I brushed that on. Really?
I did. I brushed it on.
Uh-huh.
I slapped it. I
slapped it on.
How did that take you 4 hours?
Prep work. But this should take us like, you're not right. This should take us like no time at all.
Really?
Really.
That's what you said this morning.
Well, let's get to work. Let's get to it!
Alright, let's mix up the batch for the second coat.
Probably I'm gonna get comments saying, oh, your technique's wrong. Probably is. I'm painting upside down.
I learned my lesson on the first coat, so I poured out the rest of the paint into a tray and got to rolling on the rest. I should have been pickier in the roller I used, or maybe my technique. The roller struggled to roll, so I more or less slathered on the coat.
Ta-da! It's done!
With this, we can move on to sanding the bottom, preparing for the new antifoul. The sanding was a meditative but shoulder pain-inducing task. My shoulders still hurt from holding the orbital above my head while sanding the hull, but it will be worth it once we get the new bottom paint on. Stuart might have gotten the better task. He got to be a build rat, running all the new plumbing for our thru-hulls.
While Simon's busy sanding outside, preparing for bottom paint, I'm in here, and I am working on installing our new plumbing. So here's our strainer, all dry fitted together. It has a spot. There's only one spot it really fits, which works. Let's walk through what it looks like. All right, so there's our seacock for the engine. Here's the elbow that it needs to go up into the strainer. I was doing some testing earlier, and this is right about where the this goes, the strainer. The run is fair enough, but this isn't where it gets tricky. So it comes out as a 90, straight over there, which is good. This here, this is the inlet for the engine. Back here, facing into this bulk, this stringer, whatever, right here. And let's pull out, because the hose that was there was old and dying. I bought some new hose. And this new hose is very, very inflexible. And so somehow we have to get this hose in there running into the strainer, and that is the challenge. By applying heat to the end of the hose, I should be able to increase the size of the hose and slip it onto the barb easier. The other thing I can do is apply my favorite liquid of Dawn to lubricate the hose and barb so that the hose has an easier time pushing onto the barb. If I do both of these things, I should stand the greatest chance of getting the hose on that barb.
And the tricks worked. I got the hose on, and I was also able to install the strainer. But there is more to the story.
We're looking at the raw water inlet of the engine. And I got one hose clamp definitely on. I think the second hose clamp there is literally biting onto the end of the nipple. Literally the nipple is right underneath it. Probably halfway under, if not on the edge, the inner edge of it all. Basically, one hose clamp definitely on, second hose clamp maybe, maybe not. But I've been unable to push it much further, so I'm gonna call it good here for now. Hopefully this gets a good idea of what's going on in here. Oh yeah, hose is a little kinked going in. Turns out the bend radius is a little too tight for the hose to get out of there. I'm gonna have to call it good for now. We'll live with this for now. I would love to hear opinions, because I would like to make this better, because I don't like the kink. I don't like barely getting the hose on. all ideas are welcome. At some point, we are rebuilding this engine room. That took forever, but it's finally done. Ta-da! The strainer is installed and the plumbing is ran to the engine. So in theory, we could run the engine now. Looking closer at it, the hose clamps are a little oversized. I can change that later. Exposure. That's looking good. Adapter in. There's the strainer. This bilge pump out of the way. And it goes back there into the engine. It's done, so on to the next one.
It is going smoothly until it isn't. Like all our projects so far, there eventually is a hiccup that has us scrambling to find
Little
a
update
solution.
on the bilge pump. The hose for it. So first, I had a hell of a time getting the hose I bought to fit onto this barb. That was just pain. But I then tried fitting the hose over this barb for our... Name is escaping me. Future Stewart, put it right here. Name for it. Anyway, vented loop. There we go. Anyway, this barb here is 25 millimeters, 1 inch. The hose I bought is 1 1/8. I could have saved myself some money when I bought all this if I just felt risky enough to take this off and figured that out. Oh well, live and learn, I guess. So, I need to go make a run to West Marine. Buy some hose, I guess. At least I have barbs for 1 inch. The Marlon. Yay, let's go do this.
After one quick trip to West Marine for hose,
Back in the engine room, doing the hose for the bilge pump. So, what I did is went out to West Marine and got some new hose that should fit. Let's get this attached and all done. Let's go. Got the bilge pump in. Let's get to those cockpit drains.
and with the cockpit drains done, I get the sink drains installed.
Next up is the galley. We've got this elbow attached. It's got to go down. We got to take the hose. Hose has to go into that corner there for the floorboard. Then it goes under this beam, and it goes to this seacock here. And that's the way that the elbow can go. We can't have it go, the elbow go that way because there's just not enough clearance. So, fingers crossed that we can pull off that bend and get it connected to that elbow there. Let's do this. Alright, we've got the elbow attached. We come down here. We've got this one attached. They're all connected, so galley sink should be ready to go. Yay!
The sanding is done and the thru-hulls are plumbed. Today is painting day. We begin by washing the bottom of the boat. With the washing of the bottom done, I begin the taping of the water line.
While I'm up here taping, I've noticed some waviness in my taping. If you look down it, it's gonna be hard to pull on this camera, but there's definitely waviness. Thing is, when you look down the line I'm going with, the previous person who painted this boat left a little bit of waviness as well. I'm gonna do my best, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much, because if the last guy left a little bit of waviness and I didn't notice from 20 feet away, then I doubt anyone walking by our boat is gonna notice either. So I'll get the job done, and then Sam and I will get to painting. All right, so officially halfway done taping one side. Now I get to go to the other side and tape that as well. All right, let's get going. All right, we got the port side now fully taped. It's pretty good, I'd say. Good enough for government work. I'd say this is very passable. Yeah, we should be able to get painting now.
Ooh, yummy. And so begins the painting. We've opened our first can. Let's get it mixed. But it takes a while to mix this way. Let's call in some help and get a better mixing tool. What took it 20 seconds in YouTube time took 30 minutes for us. This is better, faster, neater, and more efficient. Thanks, Dad, for helping us out yet again. And so begins the painting. With all the prep work done in the morning, we spent the rest of the day painting. Each coat took us about 3 hours, plus we did 2 coats. Once we started, we knew we couldn't stop till it was done. We were long past sunset. Yesterday's effort paid off the next day. Our boat now has a very pretty blue bottom.
How's it looking to you? It's looking pretty good. Got all the tape removed. Yay! Tired. We were up until 9, 10 o'clock last night to get her painted. Yep. Back at it today. Last day on the hard, hopefully. As long as we don't sink tomorrow. Next.
We did a good job painting the bottom. And from more than 20 feet away, you can't tell how bad Stuart's taping is. Unfortunately, it goes downhill from here. For a moment.
Decided to leak test the galley sink, and that's water coming through the threads. We're still out of the water. This is closed, but I've filled this hose with water, and yeah,
it's leaking pretty good. Alright, I need to figure this one out. Damn. Alright, so, update on the whole thread situation. Turns out, I must be doing something wrong with the pipe dope, because I checked all the ones that I had already plumbed, and every single one of those, the pipe dope just wasn't sealing the threads. So, spent some time researching, didn't really find anything useful. So here's what I did. I went back to the Marlon manual. They do say use Teflon tape. Okay, I might be a fool for not doing that. So, I set up an experiment for myself. I set up the port cockpit drain with Teflon tape, and I tested it, making sure that the barb was not untorqued or retorqued or any of that. It was properly sealing. I then used the pipe dope on the port cockpit drain. Test on starboard, passed, go to port, test it with the pipe dope, making sure that the tailpipe, the barb, doesn't get untorqued or retorqued or anything of that nonsense. And it didn't seal. So either I have a bad batch of pipe dope or I just don't know how to use it. Could honestly be either one. But I'm not going to play with it. I want to splash tomorrow. And to get that done, I'm going to go use some Teflon tape because it's working. So I'm going to go do that for all of these and enjoy the pain, I guess. Yep. It is always frustrating when you think you did something right, only to learn you were wrong. At least we are able to fix this before we splash. This went from frustrating to insanity pretty quick. How about we take a break and look at something else for a minute? So we're just testing some things here on the thru-hulls because we noticed that one of the seacocks has a little bit of motion in it. Nothing to worry about right now. We're going to be doing a more comprehensive test later, I think. There's a little tiny bit of motion on the outside, like twiddling a dog hair in between your fingers. Anyways, while I was talking to Stu on the phone, I noticed something about how we painted the hull and now it's a nice, flat, even color. You can see everything because the color is so nice and even. So that includes all the blisters, all the little imperfections in the paint, and also all the spiders eating their breakfast. Let me show you. This little guy. Alright, let's get back to work. And so we found a solution for the last one. How about a thicker, more consistent pipe dope? Surely this will work. And it's not leaking! We are go for splash! It is splash day! We are both excited and terrified. This is the ultimate test of all of our handiwork. Will our pride and joy, our hopes and dreams float in the water? With her off the stands, we give the bottom of the keel a quick slap of paint. And with that, we are off to the water. Our emotions and stress are high. When it is someone else's boat, there is less stress. But when it is ours, when it is our boat hanging in the air, about to go in the water, the stress is high. Every bad thought races through our brains. What if the thru-hulls leak? What if our repairs fail? Will she still float? But when the keel finally kisses the water, our excitement grows. With all our fears, we have our hopes and dreams. As she finally rests on her waterline, the dream of sailing the world begins to feel real again. It has been a hard month of work to get to this point. We are finally back in the water. I'm so happy to be back in the water! Woohoo! We were really lucky that we didn't have as many problems as we did getting back into the water. We expected the thru-hulls to be shooting water everywhere and nothing to work, but we went straight over our slip. Just a couple little leaks that we had to fix, and we're pretty much good to go, I think. We'll see. Still have to shake down the boat. And we are not getting away free from having any problems. But you will have to tune in next week to find out what perils we found ourselves in this Friday, in next Friday's video. Yep. So see you then. See you then. If you enjoyed, please know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like and subscribe, wherever Stuart puts it this time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.